Hulk Hogan was one of the major reasons the WWE, formerly known as the WWF, was so successful in the 1980s and 90s. As champion through the first 4 WrestleManias, Hogan became an inspiration for the wrestlers of today whilst maintaining peak physicality and peak performance. However, behind the scenes, the Hulkster's life has been marred by numerous controversies, which has led to a slow but steady decline of Hulk Hogan. But what's going on, guys? I'm the Catch and I create weekly YouTube wrestling videos, and today I will be looking into the satisfying downfall of Hulk Hogan. Let's get into it. Hogan's rise to the top started in 1982 when Vince McMahon Sr. then handpicked Hogan to be WWF's showpiece attraction due to his charisma and name recognition. Donning the famous red and yellow, Hogan won his first WWF championship from the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden in 1984. As champ, Hogan would go all around the US as well as the limited international trips WWF could do at the time, telling his fans, then known as Hulkamaniacs, to say their prayers, eat their vitamins, and do their training. The Hogan character also grew, with Hulkamania running wild and his major feud with Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 giving rise to the Hogan persona that had already been in WWF. As the mid-1990s came around, Hogan was running out of touch. With much more fascinating and interesting younger wrestlers in the likes of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and an emerging Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hogan took a major contract from WWF's main roles in WCW. Hogan became a main villain in the WCW, joining the infamous NWO with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, running roughshod on WCW TV. And then for the next 84 weeks, this proved to be a masterstroke as the WCW would consistently beat the Monday Night Raw WWF programming through those times in the Monday Night Wars. Now, this was a major thing at the time, as the WWF had to think of new creative ways to be able to beat WCW, but this just proved how good and still how popular Hulk was as part of the original NWO at No Way Out, and he had a critically acclaimed run which ran all the way to about 2003 before returning again in 2005, taking his place in the rightful WWE Hall of Fame, of which he was the standout attraction of the 2005 edition. Now, enough of his critical acclaim. I'm talking about the downfall of Hulk Hogan in this video, and whilst Hulk was very popular in those early years, recently and probably for the last 15 years or so, his decline has been steady and I wouldn't say fast, but also a slow decline. And that's because he is so out of touch, and the fact that it's now been so many years since his peak popularity, a lot of what he says is very exaggerated and over the top. And a lot of this downfall started in the late days of WCW, when a lot of the WCW wrestlers, Hogan included, would do a lot of backstage politicking audience. Now, Hogan did have quite a lot of creative control in those WCW days and even towards the back end as well. But once WCW was on turning in 2001 with the rest of the original NWO, as I mentioned earlier. Hulk Hogan's fall from grace lies in the fact that he is always exaggerating and can never tell a complete story that's either true or somewhat believable to WWE fans and reporters alike. There was a story, there's been actually not just a story, there's been many stories going around in the past of Hulk Hogan exaggerating and fabricating lies in the past, one of which includes that he was one of the last people to see Kerry Von Erich prior to his death. Another was that an experience with a terminally ill child through the Make-A-Wish Foundation at SummerSlam in 1992 inspired the songs on his Hulk Rules album, despite the fact that he never made an appearance at the event and was not working with the WWF at the time. There was another one where The Undertaker injured his neck at the Survivor Series in 1991. Again, not true. Undertaker has come out and said this in the past, where he was a safe worker and he never touched Hogan near his neck at all. And just over time, Hogan has said a lot of stuff as well that's not made any sense at all. Like, you know, for example, stuff that also includes, you know, Elvis Presley being a fan of his, despite Presley having died 2 years before Hogan's actual debut. So, you know, Hulk goes into a lot of fabrications, and you know, as he's gotten older and older, I think his mind is starting to go a little bit as well, and that's definitely interfering with what, you know, he believes is truth and what he believes actually happened over the course of his life. Hogan was also part of an unfortunate racism scandal which led to his WWE departure in the middle of 2015. It was actually a recording of a anti-black rant made by Hogan on a leaked sex tape recorded in 2007, where he expressed his disgust with the notion of his daughter dating a black man and using the N-word repeatedly as a racial slur. And now once this information came to light, the WWE were quite fast in their distancing from Hulk Hogan for a period of time. It was around 3 years before they did reinstate him back into the WWE Hall of Fame. As a result of this, tape coming out, in public in 2015, when it was from 2007, it erupted into a media scandal. Now, Hogan did apologize for these remarks, which he has said is the language that is, offensive and inconsistent with his own beliefs, which is, again, a bit contradictory to the fact that he's admitted himself to being a racist to a point in the past. That being said, multiple, wrestlers that Hogan wrestled with, multiple black wrestlers, came out in his defense, the likes of Virgil and Kamala, or two of them. However, black wrestlers wrestling within or working within WWE at the time made a lot of different comments. Mark Henry was said to be pleased by WWE's no tolerance approach to racism response. That he was hurt and offended by Hogan's manner and tone, and also Booker T said he was shocked and called the statements unfortunate. Now, I did mention that Hogan was removed from the Hall of Fame, at least for a period of time till 2018, and his merchandise figures were also removed from WWE shops. He was removed as a judge from Tough Enough, which was going on at the time, and his DLC appearance from WWE 2K15 was taken down from sale, and his eventual character was cut from the 2K16 WWE game as well. I don't think Hogan is naturally a racist. He definitely doesn't help himself with a lot of the stuff he has said in the past. But I guess it's just sort of all led to, the media building up a different image or a different perception of him than it once was. Hogan, was seen as this amazing character and very humble human, initially, but I'd say the last sort of 15 years he's sort of just shot himself in the foot with his comments and his beliefs as well, which also leads me to the next point of this downfall of Hulk Hogan. Now, normally I wouldn't get involved in US politics, as it's not really my area of expertise, nor does it really interest me that much, but I found Hulk Hogan's appearance at the Republican National Convention and his open support about GOP candidate Donald Trump is quite interesting. Hogan was at an event promoting his new beer when he asked a crowd of Trump supporters and Make America Great Again, or MAGA supporters, if he should body slam Kamala Harris, before going on to question the Democratic presidential nominee's racial identity. Now, I'm not surprised that Hogan would say that. Obviously his history of racism is well documented, as far as that 2015 tape goes, but it just looks so weird. Like, here's a mainstream wrestling figure, heavily involved in politics. Now, a lot of wrestlers are, of course, involved in politics. I'm not saying Hogan's the only one, but most of them keep it under wraps, whereas Hogan's quite out there and ambitious. I feel like he's more so Hulk Hogan in real life than Terry Bollea, as a person. I feel like he leans more into the Hulk Hogan character more than he should, and it doesn't really help when he's questioning one of the main presidential nominees for the race of the US president. I don't really know how that US presidential race is going to go, nor do I really care, as I'm not an American citizen. But I just think it just adds to the fact that Hulk Hogan is severely out of touch with what is going on in the mainstream today. And I really think he should probably just keep his opinions a bit more muted, a bit more tolerated, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I guess from where he once was, that this downfall to where he is now is a bit satisfying from an outsider, because he had it all, and now to a degree he's sort of trying to recover his reputation with fans and people alike. So I guess we'll see what happens with Hulk Hogan in the future, but I can say he was a fantastic, wrestler and a great character for the WWE, formerly known as WWF at a time. But I think now, it's time to stay out of the limelight and just, enjoy the remaining time, with your family. So I think that's time for him to shut up shop and just leave it at that. But that has been the end of this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please let me know what you think of Hulk Hogan and his recent comments and previous opinions in the past. And just let me know in the comments. And if you've liked it, please leave a like and subscribe on it. And I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, hopefully 1,000 after that. So any support is fantastic and much appreciated. So thanks, guys. I'll leave it to it. Have a good one, guys. See ya. Bye.